A little story begins with average Joe wake up one day, look into the mirror and just not happy about the look of himself, overall not happy, decides to change his life forever. Feels motivated, feels the fire in him, and then he decides that okay, from now on, after so many times failing with his diet, because he is a junk food addict, he said, now I'm going to break this, says Joe, going to break this addiction. The day before he watched a lot of motivational videos, David Goggins, Haberman, etc. And then he said, okay, no more excuses. So that's what happened. Average Joe went out to the local markets, went grocery stores, bought everything he needed, lean meat, protein-packed food, vegetables, fruits, all the good stuff. Went home to prepare his first meal. Everything went well. First meal went down, felt great, and even though average Joe promised himself that he's going to do an hour meditation after the meal, he decided instead to start scrolling through his phone, checking the Instagrams and Facebook, TikTok, all these platforms, and then going on YouTube. So yeah, he spent hours scrolling through motivational videos, and then it was already 4 p.m. in the afternoon when somebody rang the bell. He opened the door and it was a pizza delivery guy. He says, pizza for Patrick. And then Joe says, wrong address, next door. Then he shut the door, and then the moment shut the door, after that he walked into his room, but that smell of that freshly baked pepperoni pizza stuck in his nose, stuck in his room. His mind started to creating a voice. So that voice started to talk to him in his head, from the back of his mind, or back of his head, saying that, Joe, it is Friday. You know that it is Friday. And I think nobody starts a diet on Friday. It should be on Monday, right? In a clean sheet. With the clean sheet, weekend, no one is doing that on the weekend. Have some fun, have some pizza, maybe. And then keep this motivation, keep this fire on until Monday, and then you will start. So the voice convinced Joe, and Joe, next thing he did was ordering pizza from Domino's, and then eating junk food for the next 3 days, and felt shit, but was telling himself, convinced himself that that's all right, no problem. Monday comes, with the clean sheet we go for it. I still feel motivation. I'm still watching the David Goggins videos. I'm good. So Monday came, and all started the same way as it was on Friday. All went good, but because of that 3 days non-stop eating of junk food, the craving was intense. And so as he was going through his phone, he clicked on the calendar, and the calendar said it is the 27th already, end of the month. So then the voice from the back of his head came again and told him that, wow, it's another 3 days or 4 days, and it's the new month, and the same thing happened. The voice was telling him, you know, who's dieting, who starts a life-changing serious diet at the end of the month? That's stupid. Just start with on a clean sheet. Start it on the 1st of next month, and after that, forget about what happened here. Just, you know, 1st of next month. At this time, Joe had a lot of frustration coming over. It was like a battleground in his mind. One side trying to convince him not to do it, the other one was trying to convince him to go for it, and you can say it's the demon and the angel was fighting within him, and of course the demon won. So he repeated the same routine as he did on the weekend, and he's done the he ordered a lots of junk food, burgers, pizzas, went for an ice cream, French fries, and yeah, he felt really guilty after that. When the evening came and he was full of, I couldn't eat anymore, and he was like, why did I do this? Why did I do this? Couldn't understand. But the next day it's repeated itself, and then so the next 3-4 days passed like this, and then next month has arrived, 1st day of the month, and he said the same thing again. Now it is time. Now, never going back. You know, this is it. Life changing. And then he looked at the calendar, and it was Friday. If you experience the same struggle as Joe does, you will be the one who decide how the story ends. First of all, you have to ask yourself the question: who is in control? You lose control when you are addicted to stuff, whether it's cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, junk food, sugar, etc. And you know the feeling that takes you over as soon as you wake up. It gets into your mind. It's already in your mind telling you, you know, go and grab this from the fridge, grab that, eat this. It's just constantly being in your mind. And you're thinking about food not as a source of, you know, nutrition that required for survival, but you eat as a pleasure. As a binge eater, you are a pleasure eater. You know, it could be that you are a little bit depressed or stressed out. So once you quit this kind of stuff, and after a certain period of time passed, you would be amazed how your mind can heal. And when you try to quit, the first few days are so tough, so difficult, and that's most of the time the reason people quit trying, because they think that it's not gonna get easier. You know, one day, 2, day 3, day 4, very challenging. What doctors tell you, that your mind will reset, your dopamine receptors will reset to a baseline if you pass that 30 days or 1 month mark. And now you have to think about it like this. You know, there is 365 days a year. You only have to sacrifice 30 days of that 1 year in order to heal. And I guarantee you, you will be healed after 30 days. There is no magic supplements here, you know, shortcuts. You need to pass that 30 days. In the case of food, in my experience, it was less than 30 days. I used to smoke, I quit smoking, it was less than 30 days. But you better prepare for that 4 weeks windows. That's gonna be tough. Prepare yourself mentally, and yeah, and go for it. You know, the other thing I wanted to say is just a little bit of a little tip, little advice. When I quit junk food, and I quit most of the added sugars from my diet, I had a little trick that I applied, which was I noticed that my craving usually kicked in during the late afternoon, early evening. Let's say 5 p.m., 6 p.m., something like that. And before those cravings got intense, I made eggs, 3-4 whole eggs, and also a half avocado. Sometimes I skip the avocado, but most of the time I had an avocado, half. And so I wasn't even hungry, and I was not craving intensely. But then I eat those foods, and then you will notice 10-20 minutes later that the cravings are mostly gone. You filled up. It's like a hack to your brain. I'm not sure if it's going to work for you. It worked for me. I would like you to give it a try. It could be, anything else. What I'm talking about, they are very fatty food, healthy fats, but you could eat something else that is, healthy. Something with you can have a complex carbohydrate. Give it a try. Eggs are just my thing. I like them, and it worked for me. So when I consumed those foods, and then 1 hour passed, I felt great. Craving was not intense. Then another hour passed, and I was like, I had to kind of meditate, because routinely I was preparing myself to search the fridge, the freezer for something sugary, so for something from ice cream or whatever it was. But then I just talked to myself for a moment, and let me be with myself, with my mind, kind of like meditate to myself, and I was like, I am not hungry at all, and my cravings are not intense. I'm not going to have it. And then I just, I had a calendar, day 1, tick, it's gone. Next day I woke up, I'm still alive, I feel good. And of course, the same thing repeats itself for a few days. It's gonna be difficult. I suggest you, when you try to quit, especially if you try to quit sugar or added sugar, just avoid the temptations. Try to avoid the temptations. I think if you have treats, junk food in your home, like long-lasting stuff, you better get rid of them. Get rid of them, because your mind is going to try to convince you. It's going to remind you that, hey, there is a chocolate bar on the second shelf, and you get rid of it. You have to get rid of it. Maybe your willpower is stronger than mine. I'm just talking about my experience. If I had junk food at home in the past, I would not stop until it's finished. Whether it be Pringles, the big container of Pringles, I won't stop. If I have to, I won't stop until it's finished. You try to do this, just remember you're not alone. I'm here with you. I promise you, you're going to reset your mind, you reset your dopamine receptors, and you are going to have control over your body and mind again. but you have to be strong for that 30 days, and after that 30 days it's gonna be easier to keep that diet up. You don't plan for like a 6 weeks diet, 8 weeks diet. No, you completely change your life. It's gonna be a lifestyle that you can carry on forever. Once you don't crave those sugary foods, fatty foods anymore, you don't want to go back to them. Of course, when you get to the point where you feel like food only comes to your mind when you are hungry and not for cheap pleasure or cheap dopamine hits, then you can, when you have control, you can add, you can have whatever you want time to time, enjoy life, you know. But you have to ask yourself the questions that, is it taking me over? Am I still in control? Am I enjoying life without these things? Like that's the thing was with me. Like I couldn't find little pleasures in things like coming out to the park here today. And I wanted that back. I wanted it back so badly. I said, no, I'm going to be in control. Not some substance that my brain addicted to. Yeah, so I'm not gonna be a slave to anything. But I will take the pain, I will face the pain, as long as it takes. If it's 1 year, I don't care. But you also have to tell your friends, family, or people around you, close relatives, that on a first few days or weeks you're gonna be a little bit irritable, stressed out. So just tell them in advance that I'm sorry about that, I'm gonna be a little bit grumpy. But yeah, again, just remember that 30 days is nothing if you compare to a year, a decade. You only have to sacrifice that and you're going to rewire your brain. So good luck to you. Leave a comment if you need, if you would like to chat or talk about this subject. I'm going to respond. Well, take care.